just a fun one. For some reason, this is acting up though. Look at it. It's just, I don't know why it's doing this. I guess sometimes you just gotta fail. You gotta have a technological. We're having a technological failure this year, folks. Just for some reason, it's just doing this. What's up, Susan? You made me laugh yesterday when she said you were like the men's and the thing. I was like, that's not what I meant. A jig, but I'm gonna tie another one because there's a lot of like color combinations that go into this to get it to look like this. And it's similar to something else I have posted, but this is like a lot different. Quite a bit different pattern, but if you look at it, this is the finished thing, but it's got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to tie one. But it's basically a cotton candy jig, but it's got a lot going on with it, as you can see. Fun stuff, but it was just something I just like designed, and like I was sitting there and I started thinking about another jig that I had made that like was snagged from me, and then that color came to mind, and then this other jig that I made that I helped someone with came to mind, and then like a cotton candy paint scheme one. And doing it this way, yeah, it's acting up. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Come on. The Joes on this rise have seen better days now. But I've done some work on them a little bit myself after. No, not quite. We won't get it. Okay. He's gonna have to be gentle. We're gonna be gentle. Hey, aren't you just supposed to be still alive? It's struggling with the focus like really bad. You can look at it. Come on. And lighting in here. But yeah, we're gonna make this cotton candy. It's cotton candy jig. See, that's the part I was worried about. Trying to be soft with it, but oh well. And I'm not using the bigger gauge thread right now. I'm using this because I got like quite a bit of it around. It's like when you got it at that price and you can use it and use it and use it for this kind of thing. It's all right. Thanks for coming in, stopping in, and dropping the likes. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm kind of tiring this because these ones were, this other jig was um, kind of snatched up. Man, I just don't want to put this here because it's just not. I don't like that. I don't like leaving it like that. But this is like a larger hook that I don't like putting in the vise almost. I like the size that's just a little bit sized down from this one. But this still works. But it's like I I find myself sometimes shortening up parts of the jig basically to the tail end of the jig to get it to really sit like I want. Excuse me. All right. First thing I need is the glue for the tail. We got blue for the tail. Got extra blue for the tail. Blue. Blue for the tail. I'm being gracious with this tail here material. Yeah, it's not quite wanting to cooperate with the focus for us here. There we go. Though the quality is probably a little weird. Sometimes it comes in better picture quality, but I figured it was gonna be like this today. Don't have to do that, but sometimes it does make a difference. Brick it, brick it, brick it, brick it, brick it, brick it. Just have a rick it, rick it. It's a candle, y'all. You see that whack going over there? It's an actual candle. because there's a gap in there. We'll warm it up. Yeah, because this hook is so big. So the vice grip of this, the jaws of this, it's kind of annoying in a way, but if I use a thicker gauge, this would be thread, it'd be easier. But this is just what I got right now. I have like 3 rolls of this threads. It's like use it. You're still here? Good. Thank you for hanging. Still stuck in my old ways of doing that. But what I'm doing next is gonna actually. This is kind of why I do it. So I kind of do that little bit of glue there. Like there's a reason why on this one I have to do this glue this way. Like I just do it this way. It's like it just gave me peace of mind. Let's just say that. Gives me slight peace of mind. For this tail section. And usually I put or sometimes less is more. So it's like yeah, do something different. Let's see if I can. Oh, there's one. Gotta find the right one. Right sides. Feather. That one. And then I need my gosh, I need my I'm all set, but pick that up. Got it all set. Red. I gotta find a red feather. Let's see. That one's too short. Gotta be about that size. Gotta find one in here. It's almost time to get another. That one's pretty close. Like shuffling through a deck of cards. Like which one would it be? Which feather would it be? This one's closer to that one. So I was trying to match size, shape, and the width of the feather for what I'm trying to do for the tail, because the effect that it gives at the tail. I mean, so and we're going to take marabou. We're gonna take one piece of red. It's not. This is actually almost not marabou. This is actually almost like a turkey quill. I'm just gonna use the scrap to make this other part. So, trick here is to figure out the right length versus the tail. A lot of times I use the body of this to measure it. probably like right there. And probably need another one. Soft loop. I just did this like a soft loop on it, and then I just kind of manipulate it so the tail flares out because I'm trying to wrap it completely around like this, kind of like this. And then let's see how it's gonna come out here. Not quite enough. So, and that's why I kind of did it that way, because I wanted to make sure it wrapped. So I have to take it out of there, and I use a different piece. Use another piece. Wasn't quite enough. Uh-oh. What, they going back to a different route for a second and going back? You know they do that. I've had that happen at the buses before. And I was like, yeah, and they're like, they were because they were experimenting with the timing and stuff based off the traffic and the workers. So they actually like altered the bus route for basically temporary experimenting. So we're trying not to put I think we got it. So it's one time wrap. Yeah. So if you saw what I did, it spun it around. And so the goal was to try to make it semi-even, and then I could just like not have to play around with it too much and manipulate it with my hand, and then kind of tie it down. See, so it almost goes perfectly around it. Once you get the positioning, then you're good. I need a. It's not difficult. Just, I mean, I'm sure there's a faster way to do it, but this is just kind of how I decided to do this one. Because I can always manipulate the marabou still. See, so I can fix that gap, manipulate it so it's boom. This. Yeah. There's like a fellow. Never mind. I won't say it. He might be watching. So I was just thinking about something. This person might be watching me. Better not say that. So that's a little cool trick. It's kind of hard to get the focus quite right, but you can kind of see. So that was the whole little thing about that, was to get it so it would. So I used 2 marbles in the tail so I could just spin them around, and I did like a pinch loop, like a pinch basically. That would be the tying term, I think. But instead of just doing it, pinching it and tying it in immediately, I left it semi loose so I could keep working with the feather, basically. Shut up all that mess. So the goal is it's got to come out looking like that one. So now I gotta replicate that. I just came up with this. I woke up this morning and my mind said that, and I was like, cotton candy is dandy, and it was just like on my mind, and I just like I'm tying that. Like before it goes out of my mind, I was like I'm tying that. That's what I like about. That's the part I like about the tying stuff. I don't even think it's patience. What happened was I would just sit down, and then you develop patience because you need to make sure the feathers and stuff go in properly. So this piece, like, so you got three different things going on right there. I cut it from another time when I cut to make something else, and then it's still got a little bit, and so I'm just gonna take a pinch of it off with my hand. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did, but I'm gonna put it on there like that instead. So it's, I think this is actually technically a turkey quill actually. I'm gonna put the two together. These two pieces, tore off another piece, put it together. So then it's together like that. But I'm gonna do the same thing once I get done doing this. Kind of do the same thing I did with the other one, but the other feather I just did, but it's not. This isn't like truly a marabou, but you can use a marabou instead. But this is like a turkey quill because I didn't want it. Uh, I didn't want the same texture, I guess, of the marabou, but something similar. And I've been kind of messing around with that, and I like it for a while, for since last, not even last October, before that, like winter, March even. I was just messing around with it, having fun. I'll leave it. I'm just wrapping through here. We're gonna close up some of these gaps at the tail. I'm gonna be more tedious about this one because I want them to. These are kind of experimental, but I want them to have a chance that they'll sit, so I can just have them sitting. But they're coho color and chum color. This is a coho chum color. So. What? A skunk? What kind of skunk is it? So I'm just putting this wax on there to get down in there. And we're gonna take that little tuft we took, pull that out, and then we're gonna try to get it to size match the size of this one, the shape. Soft loop. Soft loop. So it's almost like you're spinning it, see, like when you do a deer hair, but instead it's not deer hair. It's like the plume of the turkey quill, or it is a marabou, or just doing a marabou the same way, but it kind of gives you the same. It's the same feel. But the whole point was just to barely put a little dash of red in the pink color of the tail. So like it's blended. It's blended like a painting like an artistic painting. Yeah, there's deer hair flies that I make that you take them and you take the fur and or the hair actually it's not fur. Fur is different than hair technically. The texture and you the way you wrap it, it makes it spin around the hook. We call it spinning deer hair, spinning elk hair, and it makes it spin around the hook. And so I do the same thing, but I do it with um, the plume off of like feathers. I just want a little bit of red in there. So see, there's like a little bit of red in there, all the way around it. And I'm gonna have to add a little bit in. But see, it's actually red right in there. Just a slight hint. Just like a little bit. But it's not totally red all around. So I'm gonna have to put a little bit. Like right there. Just because I want it to be almost red all the way around. And move it. And some of the stuff I do, like, I always say it's like, this is how I just figured out how to do stuff. Everyone ties jigs differently. There's probably more efficient ways. But sometimes there's like stuff is like, hey, and someone else be like, you can just do this. Sit down at your vice and mess around with stuff. And that's what I used to do. So like, sometimes I I knew I might go fishing. I'd come in after work and I would just sit down and start tying something. In those days, at that time, a little bit, and keep myself out of trouble. Basically, keep myself out of trouble. So there it is. So you can kind of see now that that tail's in there. You can see now it's got a crazy color, red, pink, like a fluorescent pink, and then blue together gives it like a crazy. It's basically it'll become purple in there in the middle, because when you layer them over them, color wheel stuff. So it's like it kind of gives it a purple reddy feel when the light hits it. So in certain fishing situation, it's gonna look different to the fish. It's gonna have like a. We're going to put a little white yeah. And this time I started thread from back. I'm trying to save thread even though I have extra thread now, like tons of quite enough thread around. Still gonna end up buying more thread. And that's the one thing I always try to. You gotta have some kind of thread. Depends. If I'm taking my time, like on this one, we've been sitting here for 30 minutes. But it depends. Like it depends on how big the thing is. Like this is pretty big. Like that's about an inch between that notch and my finger. So that's the front of the hook. That notch in my finger. That's 2 inches. That's to the bend of it, and it's even longer than that. So you got to put all your materials in from there forward. So if that thing is smaller, it might take you less time, or it could take you more because there's more intricate feathers to add in. So or like it might be a different technique you got to use to tie it. It's like certain trout flies, so it just depends on what it is. But technically, you could tie these pretty quick. But the way I'm tying this one, I'm adding in like extra elements. Like I could do this same thing, fly and this jig, like, and just tie in the hair and wrap it. It'll cut the time. It could cut the time, but the time on it, but for making it, but I'm trying to actually. I wanted to have like this blended type of color scheme to it throughout the whole thing, and then like a type of contrast. So it's gonna take me. It's gonna take me almost like it might take me an hour to do it just because This is only the second time I've created this jig. I've created something similar, but not like this one. I created that one. That's a one of one this morning. That was one of one. Just woke up, said I'm gonna make this. This will be two of two. First time. So this is first time live. First time. Yeah, but I've tied this up. There's this other ones that tied similar, but this one's different. I just one of those ones where you put a bunch of things in it, so it takes a little bit of. You're putting just a lot of material. You're just putting a lot of changing over different materials in there. Nothing that a basic beginner couldn't do. Fly tie or anybody tying could do, but it's just you're gonna be switching back and forth between like basic technique to do this. And so I don't know. You have to have you'd have to have patience. But I want a little glue here too. Yeah, I want a little bit more glue on this end because I don't mind it getting on my fingers. What's up, Nimby? Just tying a cotton candy. Cotton candy with the purple G kid on the purple. Like sometimes I tie the jig and I've caught fish on them. I caught fish on this one. I caught like 5 fish on it that day. And I just said I got upset. I got upset with myself. I was like, I don't want to. It's like it's ruined. You know, like I felt like it was ruined because the salmon's teeth like beat up on the material. You know, I was like, it's ruined. But it was catching fish, and I was like, I feel like I ruined that lure I made, but that's part of it. Like, so that's why I said sometimes it's like it's actually okay to make a lure a jig that's not gonna like its quality is done tightly, tied it tightly and moving tightly. It's not gonna, and at other times you might not want to do a jig like that. So we're just gonna like wrap this Palmyra hackle, but we're doing double red in cerise or fluorescent pink, fuchsia. That's basically what the color is. But when you look at it, it doesn't quite look like that. And the camera just, it just doesn't want to. It's the lighting, I think. Here, let's see. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, well. I'm not going to restart the stream for that. I just realized what it was. I didn't lock in the camera view on the other thing. Duh. That's why it's not focusing like you want. I didn't lock in the other camera view. The mirroring like camera view thing. So it'll This is like the part that's kind of annoying when I tied this last time too. Was getting it to, because I don't have any kind of channel or something for it to kind of grasp to. It's grasping straight to the thread and the wax, and then there's wax obviously on there. All right, there we go. So we're like, you shouldn't do that. Snug it up. And the reason why I've been messing around, and I've been doing this for a little while, but like the reason why I've been tying them like this, I'm not sure. Haven't fished them enough and caught enough fish on them this way to know from the when they bite it from this end to see how it performs, like with the teeth of the fish. And like when you try to grab that lure to take it out, all that stuff, I've not on quite enough. But the color scheme is on point. Color scheme, definitely salmony, fishy color scheme. And we're gonna do like that. So that's the tail. It's looking. Yep. Oh yeah. There you go. So it's just a cotton candy color scheme, but this one just has it just has like a lot of, it's just switching back and forth between the same colors and material, but it's just blending it together, kind of, and being very precise, kind of. So I wrap back this way because I want it to sweep back. So there's the tail. It's like red, and so it's like red, and let's see. Show my hairy arms, hairy hand. Yeah, but you can kind of see the pinks and the red in that tail, and then how it's blended over this blue. And if you look closely, it's hard to see it. So you can get it, but it's almost turning purple right there, like a ring of purple, because that's all, blended in layers over each other. So it's not technically a true cotton candy jig, but it is. It has all those colors in it. This creates that, like, kind of like a contrast illusion right here, getting red, like almost like a fluorescent, like a blood red, and then when you put them together, you get kind of this cool color combination to it. And you could literally just make a jig from that. That's a jig right there. Take this away, that's a jig. Like that you turn that away, that's a saltwater jig there. When you look at it, like super quick, like super fast, because just from that color contrast, you can make like a saltwater jig right there. Cut this off. That's a saltwater fly. Just that little small, just that section is like attractive to some fish, like that color scheme. So, but yeah, this one I've been kind of like messing with. Just started messing with this color. I have something similar, but I've been messing around with this because I wanted the thing that hit my mind, and I woke up and then started tying was I've been working on that with another one, and it's I wanted hackle for the end. So this has more. This has movement because it can move freely through that. It's a little bit different through when it's when it's just the hair. This hair is a little thicker. It takes a little bit more for the water absorb in there, and it falls a little bit slower than the marabou. So I was like, I'll put hackle and marabou, a little bit of everything together, and make a tail. And that tail is when that water hits it. That first part of that jig is gonna be this. So it's gonna have like a bulk on the front. So it's gonna kind of go slow, but once it hits the tail, it's gonna kind of water's gonna move more freely through it because there's hackle, marabou, and the plume mixed in the tail. So this is gonna be able to move free. That's gonna move free. It's gonna have like it's almost like you think about like an articulated. That's what it would be. It's almost like an articulated movement, but it's on the jig itself. If that makes sense, it'd be like an articulated movement just in that center, but it's frozen. It's portraited to it. It can't move, but it's gonna move kind of in that way because this is gonna move, and these are gonna have its own movements, and because they're blended hackle and marabou, they're gonna flare up and like have a swimming motion too, just as much as this tail. But yeah, so I like focus a lot on that tail part, so that really like I wanted to have like a bunch of action, but I wanted the tail to be short, so it can't wrap on the hook down here. Because some of them, if you make them too, if you don't like when you buy these, if you buy a twitcher, sometimes the tail's like be like way back here. It doesn't even need that big long. The tail needs to be like an inch and a half or something. And they'll stretch, and it'll stretch in the water and then draw back up. So you have to think about that too. Like if you when your jig dries out, this material will draw back up because of the skin. So as you can see, like this one's a little bit longer, a little bit more plumier. But that's kind of the effect you're looking for. That's the effect I'm trying to get. Is that's like almost like it's a articulated section without it being articulated. And I've seen articulated coho jigs. You know, I was like looking at something. He's like, "Look at this articulated." I was like, I thought about the same thing, but I wanted to make something more finesse style that wasn't on a jig, a big old jig head. And I've decided on what I'm gonna do. I've already been messing around with that, and that looks pretty fun. And you could throw that on light 9, but season's limited. You know, time's limited for a runs of fish. So. But okay, so we got that. Now the next thing is just we're just gonna wrap the blue in. I almost want to put another. It's almost long enough. Is it long enough? I should almost want to put a pink feather in there to really cause a cool color separation, but I'm just gonna put the blue. Like, I was made fun of for the steely blue and talking about that color. I said that'll work. No, I was like, no, I don't. I think when you fished enough, or if you you grew up in the area where there's salmon everywhere, or well, it's not everywhere, but it used to be. When you were younger, you kind of get an understanding of some stuff, and then if you like to tie, you're gonna start figuring out stuff. You're gonna ask locals. You're gonna ask that angler that you seem like he's catching all the fish nobody else is, and everybody else has all the professional stuff. You're gonna ask that person You're gonna ask that person how to catch them. It was me. Like when I was like, why he catching all of them? Or that lady catching all of them. I was like, what's going on? And then you find out like, oh, I tied the thing, or there's a little bit different colored thing than these, and you can't, and then you learn something. So that's something I've done before. Like just wanted to learn, and I met the right kind of fishermen and fisherwomen at the time, where they're just like, yeah, do this is all right. They're like, oh, you tie that? Oh, you should try this. It's like, oh, so like I guarantee, they're like, go to this place, and that was cool. Like, man, everybody had their own. It's still like that. It's just there's now we got there's I noticed there's some little weirdness out there too. Sometimes on the fish holes, and I don't like that. I don't like it, but used to have a lot of more fun with it. All right, so got that all in there. It's pretty even. And, yeah, but this kind of jig is a lot more tying in stuff. A lot more tying in things. I know it'd be, for someone who doesn't fish, you see, you're like, man, that just seems too much, or if they fish and they just like, you're patient, you're not have a high patience for focus and that sort of stuff. But usually, most people, if they like something, they will have a different level of focus, and so, especially when it's like something like hobby wise, I noticed that like, or something they love to do, that like it gives them like a kind of a relief. They'll have a higher focus sometimes. So think about that. Some people, they'll give them like a higher sense of focus sometimes. All right, so we're gonna wrap this. There's the blue going in. Let's see how many now. I'm trying to think. See, that's the thing. So I gotta remember how many wraps I did to make the body. I think it was like 4. I don't need it to be this. Yeah, like right there. I think that's it. A little too much blue, I think, almost. Blue, and then, yeah, it's telling me stop. I'm gonna have to stop here. Up, like right here. So I do the weird stuff. Like, I do this weird stuff. I'm probably not the only person. I'm like bracing the J head up against my hand. I just do weird stuff. But I can see exactly where I tie that thread down now, because that's to me. But if I do it, I also tie them the opposite direction. The other one, at this spot, I tie it the opposite direction. So instead of wrapping it towards me, I wrapped it the opposite way. So I do that too sometimes. I'm just like, is it gonna make a difference? Is there some maybe superstitious? Like, so some of my jigs are actually wrapped the other way. I wrap them different ways. Like just because both directions sometimes. Yeah. we're gonna do the tighten down thing, and we need to anyway because there's no thread up here now. The only reason why I did this way to save thread because this requires a lot of wrapping, and you can see it's gonna be like almost gone. But I've tied a bunch of jigs with this thread in this other roll already. Thicker thread will make it quicker and easier, but fun stuff. But this one is just there's just a lot. It's not a lot, but it's just when I decided to tie it this morning, I don't know, I was like locked in. It's one of those things you're like I'm locked in to tie this thing. And then I was literally deciding right then and there how it's gonna look. Like I should tie this. I already have this. I already tied something like this, but I was like, this might be a better get a different reaction to the other thing. I don't know if I can get it to. It won't quite be like the other one. And then we need to put the legs in. Where am I? Done disappeared off of here. But we're gonna put hologram legs in, which it's whatever. Yeah, I know. I know there's a certain someone who's wondering about that. I'm not like that. Like I just say before about this stuff. Just tie it and I work with what I got. So, and I have dreams too, really, but I'm just like, this would be cool. This is a cool pattern. Well, I might not be able to do hologram. Might have to do the other one. I can't find them. For the stream purposes, maybe I'll just do the other one. But yeah, I did hologram. Hid them from myself, didn't I? Yes, I did. No, Leslie, don't get your laundry done. Don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Yes, you are. I'm looking for not that. Where is it? At one point, I thought I was gonna be the person with all the crazy tons of materials, and I'm like, I'm not. But I do have some older materials that are. I gave a few away to. I gave a few people just like, hey, remember me? Oh, here I found them. I tied a mouse, and it was funny because Crazy was tying a mouse today. So I was like, oh, you tying a mouse? But I tie a mouse, and the mouse I tie, and I tied it once, and I gave my first mouse. I gave first mouse away to somebody who's a YouTuber. I gave it away to him. So, there you go. I was like, you can. They're like, look at it. I was like, it's the first one. I was like, I'll tie another one. I was like, but it was my first one. I tied other stuff like that, like spun it and did like that, but I was like on that, but I'm gonna make it, and I made my own version in a different kind of Wait. So we're going galactic. Unfortunately, this may have been the one that somebody sprayed with something. But I'm still gonna put these on. This is laundry, right? Right. Actually, it's funny. I just was doing some today. I forgot. I did it the day before, and then I forgot. Like, well, I didn't forget. I just kind of like, I'll get it. I'll get up and go over there. I'll go to the other area to get it, and I didn't do it. Like your laundry, right? I had a laundry bag. I had was what do you call those? It was one of those old school ones. It was a basketball hoop. I had one of those as a kid at one point, and I sure thought that was something. All right, legs going in. Nothing too crazy. I'm just tying. If you like salmon fishing, you like creating lures, and I'm leaving that in for a second because I want to see what I'm doing. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you like hanging, chilling, and fishing. Didn't get to do much any grilling though. So we got three. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world. Roll these over here. Roll over. Roll over, Rover. Yeah, it's acting up. But it's there's the blue. I'm just hanging out. Not just time. Just depends. But when you do this kind, something that you just created, it's a little different. So, you just came up with it today. You sat down with your tea. You sat down with your tea, and that's how it is. Started here said, I'm gonna tie something. Yeah. I usually don't schedule any of my ties anymore. It's nice to do that, but sometimes like this one, I was like, yeah, okay. It was just something I did this morning, and I was like, hey, might as well make it show the secondary creation of this color combo that you just through together. And so here's where the cool contrast comes in. The really cool contrast comes in once you put this in. You could even put a hackle in between there if you wanted. This one, I wanted it this on the other side. So it's gonna be, it looks some pink or sea rice to me. It's just a little bit more reds in this particular dyed fuchsia, which will work. I've used it on the Twitchers, other ones, and this one actually hooked up with third fish. It was fun. People get all weird. No, some people are like, it's easy to catch them big fish. For me, it was like, I used to think, I was like, man, these fish, I said, how did they catch it in the freshwater? They ain't hungry. I used to go be so just confused by that. So confused. I said, I am just so confused by these fish. And I would chase them things, and I would see them fish jumping, and I could not catch one. No, that's not enough. I need to. Oh, here we go. But you don't have to even do. You don't have to necessarily do this if you glue it and tie it down, balance the best way you can. But it does help. But jig will last longer. But I had a jig had no I tied, but it had it had already pre-waxed thread though. I can't say that. And it lasted a long time. And then in a pinch, I tied one that didn't have any one time. And that was cool. Had no wax. But thank you. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. I don't tie much lately. Probably will tie more, and obviously winter will be coming. I'll be tying more in the winter. But I still tie. I've still been tying. It was more because that situation happened once again. So it's like, oh, now I have to replace a couple of things or do a couple other things. And I was like, oh, I'm not really. Then I changed and did another change of approach. I'm like, I'm not bringing that. I'm just going to fish this other thing. Yeah. There's stuff out here in this world. So where you're just like, wow. So now we wrapped the fuchsia. So we only did. Let's see what it looks like on this side because that's where. Oh, yep. Let me see. Don't want them to roll. So I'm trying to keep those so the silver says it. So I need to go like that and then lock them in and roll it over. This jig isn't even holding in the visor good because this is a little bit on the larger side of the jig. glad I was able to help some people though. Some stuff. So here's the cotton candy part. You start to see it coming together here. I think I'm gonna do one up and hold there. Come on. Static clean, get out of my way. All right. I just like, I actually kind of like relish the fact how people go after ones and they say no one likes a know-it-all or they get upset. I kind of relish when people do that because I know what kind of person that comes from. Some people, I kind of like go, yeah, because like I've been told that before. But I mean, hey, there's book smart, right? They used to always say that there's book smart and there's street smart, and then there's there's different types of stuff. And then there's like the in between, and then there's the type that people are like, well, you don't know anything, and there's different types of stuff. When someone told me you're not gonna be on this, I said, well, why? Why not? So we got here all tied on. Try not to cut the thread here. There you go. And then last thing we're gonna enter in is gonna be the purple for the collar. I think I should have maybe went one less wrap there. But like I said, this is the only second time making this jig ever. But I have something similar, but it's not like this one. Only second time making this one. And there's lots of schemes, color schemes like this for trout, steelhead, salmon. So it's not on. These colors are pretty standard now, but it's kind of cool when you make your own. Like creation with the same color schemes that are out there. So it's coming together. Yeah. Cotton candy. Cotton candy, basically. But this is like my little variant twitcher, similar to this, similar to that. Twitcher. And there's some things in the darkness. But that I know about that I'm like a fair person, so I feel like here, like this is what's up. I don't like to mess people over, man. With I really hate doing that to people. With anything. All right. So got that in there. Ready for the last part. So there you go. See, it's like a cotton candy cane. It was tempting to put marabou around it, actually. have a marabou front or like the back, even like full bushy. And I was just like, I'd rather have hackle with like a plume that's underneath. It'll still move, but it'll be a little bit smaller movements, I guess, because it's not as bushy as this stuff. And I'll just need to get a longer hackle, so that's why so hackles kind of stick out on the end. Like part of it's the marabou too, is making it just long enough. But yeah, this is my marabou plume. Like, well, it's like turkey clue, plume, cotton candy, holo. So it's holographic. These are the holographic legs on the sides. Didn't really put them in, but I wanted some silver in there because I wanted to catch silvers. I wanted to catch coho. I wanted to catch silvers, so that's kind of why I did that. And I have another jig that has that silver in it, and it's not my jig necessarily because you can buy that holographic stuff and all that stuff. It's just I tied it my style I thought about, something I kind of like, like I wonder. I was like, I bet you other people would think this might work too, I mean, that's the cool thing about now that we have there's the materials out there. Some of the now you know all these different new materials are out there. Excuse me. And then we're just gonna put some black rabbit bright strip on the front here. It's like black bark. If I can find a piece big enough. Nope, that don't think that's gonna work. I have to use this other one. Let's look up here. Purple, red. That's purple. Is that long enough? That might be long enough. I think this is the regular purple. Oh no, it's not. It just messed up. That's what it is. Well, let's see. How about dual of this particular let's see. You can put purple. You could even do that purple and black on there if you wanted. And you got a slightly different effect to it. Oh, here we go. I found some. I had like regular purple, like purple and barred, and then one of the purple and barred ones I had was like not dyed quite properly. Something weird. I was like, oh, it's like something with the dyeing process. When they dyed it. Back to the side. Sometimes I don't mind if there's like little minuscule bumps in the actual heat it up, right? Heat it up with your hand. Wax. But doing that specifically for this one. And apparently people wanted that one jig. I don't know. That's the second time that same one has been taken too. I'm like, why'd y'all want that one so bad for? Like they grabbed that one. There's like, it looks like a. To me, I was like, it's like, yeah, it does kind of look like a trophy piece. It does kind of look like some sort of something you should have like sitting in your living room or something. That this one that was taken, it looked like a more of an art thing, but I'm 100% sure it's. But before I was gonna be the first one I was gonna use, and then I was like, no. I figured I think I think I knew it was gonna happen if I did, so I was like, no, better not. Still ended up having issues, but oh, it's all good. People get mad at people. Crap, all this weird shit. And there's so many fly tires in the world. Like one of the ones I met in the forum, he's on a lot of other people's channels, actually a lot of times, and then I think I met him in person actually before. And he was like, "You can't just run around doing this on your flies," and I was like, "What?" If you're gonna do that, you need to do this. I was like, maybe, but maybe scenario that I'm in changes how I'm gonna view it, but I'm not gonna treat people like a certain way still. So maybe I should try not to pull the skin too much. So I want this snug, but when you pull these skins stretch, they'll stretch on you, and so you can actually do. I've been finding I can do a almost like an extra wrap, and that's what I just did. So I like these them to be pretty snug. Can I get it to work? Yeah, it's pretty wild, the stuff that goes on. People's assumptions on people trying to get you and stuff that's not your fault. The world has been trying to mess over sometimes the good people for a long time. Sometimes, or put them in situations to make them appear like they're not good people. And that's a form of manipulation in a way. There it is, pretty much done. Wrap right there. Hour and 24 minutes. Just taking my time to show this one. Taking your time versus I need to make an order is two different things. Think about it like that. Taking your time on one just to show it. There you go. Even with the loose jaw vise, but this is a big hook. I like them on 2/0 hooks for this one. I really like them on a 2/0 hook. And then if a half ounce. Now I've messed around with a half ounce a bit, or What's the other one? Half ounce. I like 3/8. I like 3/8, half ounce, and uh, what's the other one? And 1/4. That's pretty much all I work with. And then the 1/8 are usually when I go to 1/8, I'm looking like bass and trout. And then you go down to the one the 1/32 ounce and the 1/64. Stuff like more crappie, panfishy, but you can catch some and then trout, but you can catch some large. You can get salmon on that if the hook's capable. Your stuff's set up right. You might be able to. Uh, and then where's my stuff for this? Yeah, like I don't really have to do this to finish it, but I'm going to. Way. Nothing abnormal about it. Nothing or nothing. Having the legs hang off of it ain't nothing different or new. But and I tie other stuff too, and it's not like this concept wasn't on the market before. It's just I like to just sometimes if I see a pattern like I like to tie it in a different color contrast or come up with something else that how I like it to be. So like something else that kind of yeah, that was a lot of thread there. All right, well, there she is. A little bit of camera issues. I think it was like the quality was kind of doing some stuff, but definitely have a really nice looking cotton candy, or sorry, cotton candy color scheme. Do some half hitches and wrap this one over. Looking pretty good there, house, as they would say. What's up, Yosh? What you think of the cotton candy, man? This is my little version of a cotton candy, but it's cotton candy hologram. So the legs are just hologram legs. And it's like very sparse. Like there's only like 3 legs on it. It's not like the other kinds I've made. I think I like less, like only like a couple legs on them. So this is like my take on a hair jig with the cotton candy. Like it's like, well, this jig keeps getting snagged, but well, I have this other one. I can make this other thing. There's always another idea within an idea, sort of. Sort of, I guess. Oh, missed the spot. Nothing fancy, it's just a jig, right? Ain't nothing to it but to do it, I say. All right, there you go. Cotton candy hologram. So that's my little version of a coho salmon jig, but I think this would actually be really deadly on a. Might be deadly on chum salmon also. Kind of more chum salmony, and it's like this is like a basic jig that, and that one is like a purple and blue type of cotton candy-ish type of scheme, and that just marabou only, and that worked really well. Like chum like that, but the different type of jig head color, the jig head color sometimes needs to be different. So that's your cotton candy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out the other jigs and whatnot. And there's some that ain't even on there that I've been messing, tinkering with, and some other stuff going on that isn't on the tube that I'm messing with. And I don't even, some of them I don't even carry fish with them quite very often because of weirdness. Goes on, so I don't be carrying that in that certain lures. I don't carry certain lures. As I said, lures. No. But there you go, cotton candy hologram. That's what I call it. Runs cotton candy hologram because it's got holographic legs. Just like the old remember them slap bands back in the day? That's what it's got kind of on it. But it's purple, fuchsia, blue and black, red, cirrus, hackle right here, or well, red turkey quill plume, cirrus saddle hackle, and then a red woolly bugger saddle hackle, like blood red, and then blue tail. So I just call it the runs cotton candy holo hologram. There you go. Questions? Anybody think? Whoever's watching, what do you think? Fire? Is it good? Whoever's hanging? Leslie? Rosetta? Yosh? Fish? I think it came out pretty good. See? That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when the fish looks at it going away. And I wanted it dark at the head because we already had that purple, we already had the purple jig head. So it's like, might as well just make it a concentrated or the dark thread, the darker. And this is black. The edges of this are black actually. So because you probably were sitting there the whole time. You were sitting there the whole time just waiting for me to say something. That's what it was. Nah, I just did. Everybody seemed like they're doing laundry. Was everybody? Everybody did laundry today. Like, what's going on here? Like, I did too. I did some like laundry. Everybody was doing some kind of laundry thing of some kind. Because I was like, oh, I forgot those. I need to like wash those again because I forgot them. In my case, it was like, oh, I forgot them, and then went and did other stuff, errands and stuff. The errands were more important at the time. Yeah, I think it lit pretty good. Hour and 30 minutes. She was like, "How long does it take you to tie one of these?" I said, "Tying on the stream, I tie slower on the stream sometimes than fast. I tie slower because I figure people want to actually see the hand movements, like what I'm doing, like on stream tutorial, almost figured they'd want to see. But I think it came out pretty good. I really like that looks pink to you. That is almost reddish, purpley pink. Like the edges are pink here, and then it's red right here, and the uncanny effect that you're getting, like probably looks different to you guys from like the like because it's trying to pick up the colors. It probably looks way different to you than what it looks like to me in person. Like it's like to me, this is like dark purple, and then I can see like black. This is actual true red. This is fuchsia. This is purple and black. This is blue and black. This is blue and black on the tail, chrome. So all those blended together gives you like it's like an illusiony effect kind of blend. Your color wheel blending the thing. If you like look up, like that's red sticking up right there. Like you can see there's like there's like a little red on the top. When I look at it when I look at it it looks like it's pink. Like from here, this view, but when I look at it with my eyes, I'm like, no, I can see that like pink and red, purpley weird thing happening right there. So yeah, it's like chrome. Yeah, the chrome here is the flash. No crystal flash. That's like I'm no crystal flash. I think this silver from this is enough flash on its own. It's that hologram, silvery, like a spoon or something, a fishing spoon. I think that's enough flash, considering it has so many colors in it. Like it'd probably be a really good jig without even these legs in it, just by itself. But yeah, I call it Run's hologram cotton candy. Cotton candy coho jig, shum jig. Yeah. 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 Here, let's see, but it had to do with the feathers. So there's the original. Totally different look, right, guys? I'm looking in there. It just has to do with the rabbit hair, I think. Yeah, it's just the rabbit hair causing that effect. Same jig. Same jig. Same exact jig. But this is just a little longer. I should have made this a little longer to match it. But that's what I was saying. I make 3 of them. And you got a little more pronounced red and pink there. And that's probably what I should have done there. But it's still the same jig. But the goal was this part. This was the part to me was the goal, was this. So that's why I said I might want to wrap it another feather in there. The goal was to make that hackle down through there. I haven't seen them. I have not seen them. I'm sure it's a great catchphrase or something in there. I know it. I bet you there is. I know it. Yeah, so that's 1 hackle. That's 2. So that I should have put another hackle feather in there. Haven't seen it yet. I think they look good though. And I've seen a lot of cotton candy purple with purple marabous and colors that people made, and I ain't seen none that look. I've seen something similar, but not none that are made this way. So I'm like, I can call this runs little custom. I can call it that. Ooh, I'm bumping stuff. That's so weird. Oh yeah. Yeah. Number one, number two. So first attempt, second attempt. I think the first one looks better just because it's a little longer and it's more marabou in the tail. I actually do have that. There's a jig already posted. It's it's like a peacock. It's like pheasant, and this is right here. This one is kind of like that. That was the whole reason to make this one this way. Was like a peacock's eye on the tail, which was something I discussed with another fly tire, uh, Mister Mister. He over there in Hawaii over there, or wasn't there? Yeah. So I got some stuff like that. The resin on this has been acting up, so I just like left this alone. This fly for so it's so tacky. It's curing, but it's oh for some certain ones it just did not work. The resin on that was the resin did not cure quite like it should. No, I got peacock feather stuff. That's made of peacock feathers. That little thing right there is made of peacock feathers. If I'm thinking correctly. Yeah, that's got a feather in it. Those some of those have peacock feathers in them. They're little midge flies. Some of those have peacock feathers in them. There's some caduses. There's some badger. There's some coachman variations in there. Um, there's something else. Yeah, it's this one. See, this is similar to this, but it's not this nothing like that. Similar, but it's busy, 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 busy. It's very similar to this other one that I tied with yellow in it. It's very similar. And then that person was like, because I was like, I'm cool because I know people that grab stuff like that to discredit me and be weird to me anyway. So certain people, I was just like, whatever. Let you, I don't know, fishing poke. I was like, let you be whatever, however you want to be. I don't like going that route really, but people were definitely trying to. People still like were, oh, you did this or you caught the fish. This, and I'm like, oh man. Sometimes it just a little too. It can be much with the fisherman folk. Sometimes certain folks, it can be a little much. certain stuff can be a little bit hoot too much, but I think everybody's most of you I met like when it comes to the fishing part, everybody was like cool, like that's what it's about. Is added. You can lose sight of like, damn, that was like when I was this age, it was really fun, and damn, now look how I'm acting. Like over this because you realize like, oh, I could become this, or people get kind of it's like that with anything. Anything in this world, it seems like is like that when it comes to human their interactions and stuff. Everybody wants to be the fame, the thing, or like they have a dream. Everybody's got a dream, and nothing wrong with going for that dream and then accomplishing it. But it's just like sometimes I think people want the thing so bad, or they don't like something else, or something happened else in the past, or the other person ain't even thinking about it, and then someone's trying to, I gave someone these one jigs. He was like, "What?" I said, "Hey," and then I was like, "You can do this," and I literally bumped in this person at a store, and I showed him a marabou, and we were talking about this other marabou jig, simple pattern, simple jig. I tied them, and I was like, "These are like and stuff," and like, or what purples out to them. And I was just like, but this one just seems to be like it's same results every time. It didn't matter. And they're like, really? And then like before the like season even started, like all of a sudden all these jigs were released. They looked exactly like the jig like I was talking about showed this person. And I just started laughing and I saw the price and the price was yeah, you probably and he got and whoever I don't know who it was, but they got those shit lures into the stores. So this is sort of like one of them. This one, and it's like super simple. It's literally just a jig. It's like it's it's a white jig head, pink. Well, this one's actually woven, but I wove the colors in the Chanel. If you can see it, it's like you can see it's like almost like orange and then pink bottom. But I was talking about this one before, but and then it's like sandwiched pink tail, so the white is in the center, the pink's on the outside. But when the fish sees it from behind, it see that like something getting away, and it that goes away. And there's some flash, just a little bit of flash, and some crystal flash on the side. Not even anything wrapped on the body other than that, and it's just a regular plain marabou jig, but just with a little bit of something to it, and that's a deadly pink salmon jig to fish. Falls way faster than this. And this is even though this has it's got a heavier jig head on it. This gonna fall almost faster, and this is 1/4. This is like a half or 3/8, I think. This gonna fall faster almost because there's nothing else. Water resistance. There's nothing else. So it's just gonna look like that. When it's swimming, it's literally gonna look like this. Like that's the profile you're gonna get. That's gonna sweep down to be like just a little darting, shrimpy looking thing. This is gonna shrink down, but if you look when I grab it, it kind of holds its shape, which that's what everybody talks about. It kind of holds shape, but that's why I wanted this on the tail because I wanted it when it goes down to the tail. I want it to get smaller, be a little bit smaller in that section. So like on that one, I wanted it to be a little bit more swept down, so it'll be small, so I can kind of have like that kind of motion in that section, because that thing's going away from silver on the that hologram on the side, because half the time they're chasing it, or they see it go by from the side, and that flickering of it, they they glance and look at it. Trust me, polo glasses are wonderful. You see some crazy stuff when twitching jigs and like semi clear water. You can see some crazy stuff like the fish do when they show themselves for a few seconds, a school of salmon, or you'll see some cool stuff. You're like, whoa, they like you. Sometimes you'll be surprised how many fish are reacting to the lure, and you wouldn't be able to see that without those glasses or without like just fishing enough. And I think that's always kind of fun, right there. That gets me all ramped up every time I go and I see that. And that's what it was like the last time I went. I was like, oh look, I could see like schools of them, and you see that one fish when that jig goes by. None of the fish are reacting, and then when that jig goes by, two or three fish like what? They like react. They like wake up, like they wake up out of like a slumber, and they go for the. You come on, oh no, and then I was trying to go for it. You try to react, not get too excited because you need to make sure the lure keeps swimming like how that made that fish react because you want them to attack it. And that's part of the tricks of jig fishing because it triggers that attacking thing in the fish, regardless if they're salmon or bass. It causes some kind of reaction thing, not just the color, but the colors help. Yeah, see, I should have put a little bit longer marabou on there. I wasn't sure how long this was gonna be. I was checking it, gauging it. And that's what it is when you get some of the rabbit hairs too. So it's a little bit smaller this on the collar, but it's thicker on that one. Like did I try? I didn't get that one that much. I think now more because like that's the thing. This is one of the parts. Here's the issue I have now. You start trying a lot of semi-experimental things and things that catch fish, and then things you're making a variation of something you already did, or you lost something or food magic because of certain stuff happened. Like it's almost like I made a variation of that original, and they all seemed to work, but there was a few that worked better than others. So the handful I made. I've gotten to fish a few of these jigs. I haven't gotten to fish these ones. These are the ones I haven't gotten to fish yet. These are the ones I haven't gotten to fish yet. I have gotten to fish these other ones though, which was cool. And then that's the one I caught the fish on last week, and I hooked. I hooked a king on this one. That worked fine. It's just hot pink, fuchsia, and white, and then fluorescent mixed. That worked pretty good. Oh, and this one. And that's one of the ones that was taken that I don't have right now. I have to make another one of those too, eventually. There's that one. That one was grabbeth. I had another one like this. And this is very much a coho color. And that was one of the ones that was snagged, was this color. Just a basic all black and purple with a black and purple glitter. Like a dark purple glitter head. And then and that. Wait, no, I have to go look. And then there's like the nightmare stuff. And then what's the other one? And then you're like That's just like your standard color. But this is like a really big. This is like I think this is like an ounce almost. Because look how big the jig head is in that compared to this one. This is like an ounce. This is king jig. It's an ounce. Ounce or purple and blue. It's more of a king jig. You can catch coho too. But it's like, but it's more of a king. It's big. It's bulky. It's heavier jig head on there. I do really well with that size. This size, and then this size, and then. But all my first salmons were caught on 1/4, and everything was caught on like 1/4, like this, and a lot of it was marabous, simple woolly bugger marabous, and ones with saddle hackle tail, like split tails or three. I'd make them like I was talking about it on another stream where I just the tails like that. So I put the tails like that off of that. See, look, you get the same. You almost get that same effect. If you look at it, it's got a red and a pink, fluorescent pink. Just replace it. And so I was making them like that, but then they'd be woolly bugger style. Those worked pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was these things. Like I always felt like when I take the hook out of the fish, I felt like I was gonna snap off these feathers. And I could see like after like the first two fish, how beat up the jig was. Like how beat up this part was getting already, because they struck it though, and it was like aggressively. So I was like, whoa, this is great. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. But I was like, hey, they catch tarpon on stuff like this, so should be fine. But it really gave it a cool effect, and I trailed them off just like a tarpon fly, just like that, long like a tarpon fly. But instead, it's on a jig. It would be on a jig head. See, so that's basically what I did, and we'll just put a different color scheme. You can do it with cotton candy, and that was really salmon liked that. And like tentacles. It was like moving. It moved like tentacles from a squid, basically. Yeah, that's stuff. Other creations that I've been kind of. It's some things like cotton candy, but it's with a red stuff. But it's got a fluorescent. It's got fluorescent pink head, jig head. This actually, the body actually is what Billy actually sent that stuff for the it's on the underbody of this actual jig is actually something Villigans sent me, and I just threw that together. Like it's like a micro, kind of a smaller coho jig, kind of like the pirate color. But I'm out of here, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out, Yosh. Thank you, Rosetta. Thank you, Leslie, for flat jig and big jig tying session. And yeah. Susan, I'll catch you guys later. And check the community post because I'm gonna post pictures. I'm gonna post pictures and music. Catch you later, man. Peace. And ladies. I'll catch you later.